Okay. Morning. Fine morning it is. Sunshine today. Warmer weather. No rain. We're in good shape. Okay. Excuse me. Ron Black is going to lead us in God Bless America, Pledge of Allegiance, and the Kiwanis Pledge. And John Baird will be on the piano, and the invocation will be also with Ron Black. So,
thank you, Tom. Good morning, everybody. And if you're joining us on YouTube, we invite you to sing along. Let's sing it from the heart, shall we? As our country's flag signifies purity, valor, and justice, may we as true Kiwanians exemplify these virtues as we serve the children of the world. Let's pray. Gracious Lord, as we've just come through the Easter season and as we've heard the good word of a ceasefire this morning, we would pray as St. Francis did. Lord, make us instruments of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. And we ask this in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen.
How many Kiwanians does it take?
Okay, I think we're already. Okay, let's give it a shot. Welcome to the best Golden Cake Kiwanis in America. It's my pleasure to introduce somebody who's been here before, Debbie Bogle. She's president of the United Way of Decatur and Mid-Illinois. Debbie's been involved with United Way for more than 40 years, and she has served as our president here in Decatur for the last 14 years. During that time, she has played a key role in strengthening communities throughout Central Illinois and helping families access critical resources. She has also served in numerous community leadership roles, including president of the United Way of Illinois Board and board positions with the Economic Development Corporation, the Boys and Girls Club of Decatur, the Decatur Arts Council, and the Decatur Leadership Institute. She also co-chairs the WSOY Food Drive, which raises more than $800,000 in a single day. Debbie has led the creation of several impactful programs in our region, including the 211 Hotline, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and the Alice program, which began during the pandemic with a $30,000 investment and has grown into a $20 million initiative helping working families here locally. Today, Debbie will be speaking on United is the Way, strengthening our community together. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here and see so many familiar faces. It's been a couple years, I think, since I've been here, so what a nice welcome. Thank you so much. A lot of you know United Way. Again, you've heard me talk about it before, but I'm just going to give a brief overview of who we are today. Things have changed over the years, and as with any business in our community, and we are a business, we're a business with a 501(c) status and tax exempt, nonprofit, but we have to function as a business. And so that is one of the things that we make sure that we do is we evolve with the times, with the community, to make sure that we're addressing the needs that need to be met and that we're doing the right things right, to make sure that we're serving our community in the best possible way. So, most people know United Way from years ago. We'd have a thermometer in Central Park and we'd raise a bunch of money and everybody'd say, yeah, we raised a bunch of money. But as time went on, we realized, but what does that really mean to everybody? If we raise $2 million, what can you tell me that does with our community? We need to talk about the impact that we're making, the outcomes that are achieved by not only United Way, but agencies that we serve, to make sure that everybody understands it's not just a charity. We don't function as a charity. Charity is great. It is those one-time impacts where food, for example, giving to a food pantry or the food drive, that's charity. You gave some food, you know it's going to feed somebody today or tomorrow, and that is awesome. We need to do those things. But really, that's the end of that relationship. You did something good, it made you feel good, and it's going to make somebody else feel good. Well, we go a little bit deeper. We want to make sure that we're able to provide a return on your investment. So when donors give to United Way, when they invest in United Way, we want to make sure that we can tell them exactly what happened and what the community looks like because of their assistance. And so that's what we call our return on investment, is the outcomes. So traditional United Way, we raise money and we invest into community programs here locally. We still do that. That's about half of what we do. We go out every year, we have a campaign, we still do all the fun things with employees, and we're actually getting ready to start the investment process right now, where we have volunteers come in, they go over the applications, they go over budgets of the agency programs, they do all of those things to make sure that the organizations are sound, that they have measurable outcomes that are changing people's lives right here in our community. That's what the volunteers come in and do. So we still do that every year, and it is a great process. If you've never done it, I would encourage you to reach out. We're always looking for great volunteers that can do that with us. It's kind of like a jury, I always say. We get everybody in a room, they hear the presentations, they go over the information, and then we all stay there until we all agree on the best way to serve the community with those dollars. It's a great experience. So that's about half of what we do, and that is so important to make sure that we're still supporting the organizations in our community that need that assistance. But the other half of what we do is a lot. There's so many things that are happening at United Way. Some simple ones, 211. Has anybody here heard of 211? Quite a few, okay, good. So this is information referral hotline. It's just like 911, only for non-emergency services. So you can call this number pretty much anywhere in the United States, and somebody will answer the phone. They will help direct you to services that you need in your community. So instead of calling agency A and saying, I need this thing, and they say, well, we don't do that here, try this agency. You try that agency, they may or may not do it. A lot of people, once you make, it's hard for them to even make that first call. If they're not getting the information and the help that they need, they may not try again. This phone number solves those problems. So that it's a one-stop shop for everybody to call and find services that are available. You don't even really need to know what it is that you need. You can call, tell them your situation, and they will help you and navigate the system and find the services that are available. On the back side of that, what we get is information. It is confidential, it's free, we don't get names or anything like that, but some of the things that we know are the age of the person calling, and we do have children call. We know their occupation, we have nurses, doctors, you name it, they have called. The sheriff's department calling for people that they see, they meet in the streets. A lot of client-facing, community-facing people that call this number to find those services for people. We also know what people are calling for, like what needs are coming to the top, what needs are falling down. And so we can kind of look at the community in real time and know what people's needs are. We know, for example, in August, typically the calls for domestic violence go up. Why? I mean, we can guess on some things. School starting, that's a lot of stress on families. It costs money. It's hot out. There's all of these things happening that can cause stress in your life. And so those calls start going up. And around the holidays as well, those stressful times in people's lives. So that's the information that we can get. We can find gaps in services. If people are calling for something and we don't have anywhere to send them to, we know that. So that is a great resource to have here in our community. We've had it now for 10 years, and it's been really great to have. We also have Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So if you have kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, this is a great program. Most people think that Dolly Parton pays for all these books. She does not. She started the program in Tennessee and has brought it to the world, really. But in each community that has Dolly Parton Imagination Library, there is a partner. We are that partner in 6 counties that make sure that kids have books available. These are mailed to their home, addressed to them every single month from birth to age 5. Oh, right now we have over 4,000 kids receiving these books. United Way here locally pays for those books, and we pay for the shipping. The Dolly Parton Foundation ships those out for us. So it's been a really great program to make sure that we're getting books into the hands of kids in our community. I'm going to run real quickly through some of our other programming, and then I'm going to talk about a very new, important program. So we have our first responder and veteran counselor that is working with, when we say first responder, everybody assumes fire and police, but this also includes ER nurses, EMT, dispatch. Those positions in our community that we're falling short on, we don't have enough people to fill those positions. We want to make sure that the good people that we have in those positions are staying. So we're trying to reach them before they leave the field, before they self-medicate, before all of those stressors of being a first responder affect their work. It has been a great program for us, and we've been able to serve a lot of first responders and veterans in our community. We have many other programs here in the community, but I'm going to skip on over to our ALICE program. So during the pandemic, as was mentioned by Mark, we had a donor come to us and say, you know what, I want to help people who have been working, who are not working now because of the pandemic and aren't able to pay their rent. And I want you to work directly with the Landlords Association. And so we did, and they gave us $30,000 and said, try this out and see what happens. What we found was we created a really great relationship with the Landlords Association to where they were bringing us folks that had long-term stability in their housing, that were now in a situation, they were working people, that were now in a situation where they were getting behind on their rent, and we were able to help them. Those relationships have continued on over the last, now 6 years, to where we work directly with landlords and the general public on our ALICE program, and I'll go into that a little bit more. So ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. Basically what we all used to say, working class poor. Families that are working, they're working hard, sometimes 2 jobs, sometimes 3, and they're just getting by. They're in a situation where they can pay their bills, but one thing happens in their life and they're gonna get behind on something. It can be a flat tire, it can be they work at a job where if they're not there, they don't get paid sick time. That can really spiral somebody into a crisis situation. And so if you think a flat tire, for a family that is already living paycheck to paycheck, they don't have the money for the tire, they're gonna miss work. So there's 2 strikes against them already. How am I gonna get this tire? And then now my paycheck's gonna be short because I didn't get paid for those days that I wasn't there. So then something's not gonna get paid. Most people will buy food first. They're not gonna go without food. They will not pay a water bill. They won't pay their power bill or their rent. And then that just snowballs into a major crisis. And so we're able to work with those families to make sure that working class people can continue to work. We're trying to remove barriers. If you have an employee who their power is out, or a child in your classroom that their power is out, they're not going to school ready to learn. You're not going to work ready to work. You're trying to figure out how you're going to get your power back on. You're on your break on the phone, you're doing all these things trying to make sure that you can get your power back on. The same with if you're getting evicted. You're probably not going to work if you're getting evicted. You have to find a place to live. So with this program, we're able to provide services that keep working people working before that spirals into poverty. And so that $30,000 then turned into another donor said, that's really awesome what you guys are doing. They gave us $100,000. And so we were able to continue that program. That $100,000 turned into individual donors giving, saying, I want to help somebody. It turned into businesses saying, if somebody has a flat tire, my business does tires, we will help you with that tire. If somebody's furnace goes out, we will help them with that furnace. So we have all kinds of businesses that are helping with those things. Giving back in their way that is the best thing for them and the best thing for the families that we serve. So, and it's everything in between. We do bus tokens. We had a young woman, just got her first job, had a young child. She called and said, I just need enough gas to get back and forth to work until I get my first paycheck. That's all I need. If we wouldn't have been able to provide that and she wasn't able to get to work that week, it could have been the difference between her working and supporting herself or never trying ever again. That's how important some of these small things are that we think are small that are huge in somebody's life. That $100,000 turned into an annual gift from the Howard G. Buffett Foundation to help support this. Seeing the value in helping working people continue to work. We can't express how important that is. And Mr. Buffett saw that and he got behind that and was really helped us grow the program and make sure that we're serving as many people as we can. We still continue to get donations from the community to be able to focus on certain areas that are near and dear to their heart. Some people want to give to a young working mother or a family with small children. They can really pick and choose. We've got a little bit of everybody that we're able to help in this program. One of the ways that we determine success, a lot of programming in our community, you can go back every 365 days, gotta wait a year, and you can get help. Which is okay. We want to make sure that people are receiving the help that they need and that they're not getting evicted, that they have power, that they have the basic needs. But for us, we're not trying to sustain poverty. We're not trying to sustain ALICE families. What we're trying to do is help in a crisis situation. We don't tell anybody, but we will only help them one time. And kind of an indicator for us is, are they calling us back every year? Are they calling us back at all for more help? And they don't. Over the last 6 years, we've had maybe 5 or 6 people who have ever called back and said, I need help again. To us, of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that we helped, probably over 1,000 at this point, only a handful have called back. So that indicates to us that if those things are working, we're helping in a real true crisis somebody who is not trying to sustain their lifestyle with services in our community. And we take that as a good thing, that we're able to help those folks that need it right when they need it. I want to go to the website here real quick just to show you what Alice looks like in our community. So there's a website, you can connect to it from our website, uwdecatur.org. It's called United for Alice. This is a national movement that started 10 or so years ago. The United Ways across the country are just now really focusing on the Alice families. We see how important that is and what that looks like. I just got back, in January, spoke about our program at a national conference for Alice to let other people in communities know exactly what we're doing and how we're doing it, so that maybe they can model that and they can bring this program to their community as well. So I'm going to go down to Macon County. You don't have to move yet with the website. So Macon County, 44% of Macon County is either an Alice family or they're living in poverty. 44%. Of that, 29% are Alice families. And so they can be on the lower end of that, where they're just barely scraping by, or they can be on the higher end of that, where it just takes one major thing to put them into poverty. Again, that we've helped. There was a woman that worked at ADM. She was making $80,000 a year, and we think, well, she should never need help. That's a good salary. But you know what? She had a traumatic situation in her family where she was not able to work. She took all her sick time, she took her family leave, and she ended up, she was getting ready to go back to work. She needed 1 month of her mortgage paid. That was it. Otherwise, she was going to start getting really far behind. And we were able to help with that, so that she could continue taking care of a family member that was severely injured in a tragic accident. And she was getting ready to go back to work, so everything would be okay again, but she just needed this instant help. If she got behind on that, she was getting no income. It would be very hard to then try to catch up on that whole month missed mortgage. I don't know how she scraped so much money together to start with to stay that current. But those are the types of things that we're able to help with, to make sure that a family is not going to end up in a dire situation. And she's just one of the 44%. We have stories for days. If you can scroll down a little bit to the map, I just want to show we're able to really, this is all about data. We're really able to look at our community and see what it looks like. That right there is the Alice survival budget. This is how much you have to make just to be considered an Alice family, and I'm telling you, it is not enough to survive off of. Like, these are very low numbers. And I don't know where you can go and your rent is $700 in this town. The folks that we're helping, nobody has rent that's $700. It's all anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000, even in some of the houses that you would think should not be more than $400. It's very, very rough right now to find housing. But this just shows what that looks like and how we can kind of calculate what an Alice family looks like. And then if you scroll a little bit further down, we've got the Alice map. And what we can do is we can really drill down and look and see what our community looks like. We can do it by the whole county, we can do it by township, we can do it by zip code, and we can look and see, okay, where's the highest poverty, where's the highest ALIS? You know, is there a certain area that we need to focus on? If you just kind of tap on one of those, it should come up and show you, yeah, so that is 62521 zip code. 38% of people that live in 62521 are, 38% are ALIS and in poverty. So we can take each of those. It also has legislative districts, so when we go talk to our legislators, we can show them, like, this is what your district really looks like. So it's great information to have, and we're able to really track what's happening. You can also look at it by census tract. So it's been really thought out on what we can do. I want to talk, I'm probably getting close to being there. Okay. Okay, so that's one piece of our ALIS program. I want to talk just really quick about some of the other things that with this newest grant we're able to get. So we know that just addressing a situation in a crisis is not going to necessarily change our community, change somebody's life. It's going to keep them where they're at and keep them from falling. That's so important. But one of the things we knew was important was we have to take that next step and make sure that we are helping ALIS families move up that continuum of self-sufficient. So now, right, they may be stable right now, or they may have been in crisis and now they're stable, but we want to take them to thriving. We want to take them to self-sufficient. And by self-sufficient, in our eyes, some people would argue this, but what we mean is they are not relying on any social services or government services in order to survive. That for us, that is the main goal, that everybody has that opportunity and ability to live self-sufficient. And so it's a big task, and it really starts, well, pre-birth. We need to make sure that mothers get the care that they need so the babies are born healthy, and then we need to make sure that they're getting the right care so that they're kindergarten ready. Then we need to make sure that they're able to read by 3rd grade. If they're not, they're probably not going to succeed in school. You're learning to read up to 3rd grade, but from 3rd grade on, you're reading to learn. So we need to make sure those things are happening. Through high school, we need to make sure that kids are either college ready or work ready. And so we were able to put together a comprehensive program, and includes adults as well, for training, for retraining, for whatever those things might look like that somebody needs. And I'm sure everybody's heard of the benefits gap. So if you're getting any kind of benefits, government benefits, people, I'm sure, have heard this before, where somebody will say, well, I can't get that job because then I'll lose benefits, or I can't take that raise because then I'll lose some benefits, some government benefits. That is a real thing. And while it sounds ridiculous, I don't know anybody who would take a job where they're going to have less money in their pocket at the end of the month. And there's no off-ramp for government services. You're either here or you're not getting them. And so one of the things that we're able to do is we have a benefits cliff calculator that we're able to look at a person's situation and say, well, you know, if you go down this road and you take this job that you've been offered, we can tell them if they're going to come out ahead or if they're going to be losing money. So if they get their, say, child care benefits cut, that they're already working, they don't make a lot of money, they get help with child care. If they get this other job and they lose that child care is expensive. They may not be able to work, they may not be able to afford it. But you know what, in a year their child's going to be in kindergarten. So instead of passing up this job, can we help in some way with their child care? And so those are things that we're able to do with this new program to make sure that people aren't passing up those opportunities that may never come again for them. And I could go on and on about this, but there's so many different pieces to this program to make sure that we're addressing as many needs as possible to move people towards self-sufficiency. And I know that was a whole lot of information. This is just such a really great program in our community that we feel is a game changer. We've been funded for 10 years and we knew it would take 10 years to start seeing really big numbers. We know right now we're changing people's lives, but we don't have the capacity to change the community yet, and that's what we're working towards. We want to make sure that we are serving enough people that we can start moving those numbers, start moving those Alice numbers to a more positive number than 44%. So, I think my time's probably up, but I'm...
Let's get it. Questions? Anybody have questions? Raise your hand.
Oh, he's got some other okay.
I'm really impressed by your statistics. How do you get them?
So the Alice, United for Alice came out of United Way in New Jersey, and we actually, so we have to purchase it. And what happened was, we talked about this with the Balance Foundation and here in Decatur, and they actually helped pay for the state to be able to receive the Alice data. And after that, we found other funding, but they were one of the initial people in the state to get behind this and say, we want this information, it matters.
Deb?
Yes.
First of all, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your passion and all you've done for this community. I first met you 22 years ago when I was working with HSAC and when I was an employee of the Department of Human Services, and I followed your career from that time. I just wanted to mention, with the heart that you have for serving others, if and when you are ready to retire, we will have an application waiting for you.
Thank you so much, I really appreciate that.
Okay, one of the biggest problems among the problems that you have is the medical or hospital deductibles. Totally unprepared for it. How do you approach that situation?
So we're really able to help. That picture of me is like 15 years old, but I'm going to keep using it. We're able to help with a lot of different things. It depends on what the family needs. So while we may not pay their deductible, we may, if they're in a situation, we may be able to pay their rent for a month so that they can take care of a bill. Because most of this is, well, all of it's private funding, we are able to really, especially with this latest grant, kind of make up the rules that we need in order to serve our community. We're not tied to, oh, well, you can only spend it on this thing and this thing and this thing. I thought long and hard when applying for this funding, which was $20 million. I asked for 32. And I was told, that's a lot. Get it down to 20. And so I was like, sure thing. But that's over 10 years. I thought long and hard about what this looks like and who do we need to help. And so taking off a lot of handcuffs and restrictions, we're able to help people where they're at when they need it in the way that they need it. And you know, we're pretty picky also. We want to make sure that we are, as with all of our funding, if I wouldn't do it, if I don't feel comfortable, we're not doing it. It's my money too, it's your money, it's the community's money. And we need to make sure that we're spending it wisely. And the same with this. We want to make sure if that is a barrier for somebody, we're going to find a way to help them. It's a great question.
Did I hear Mark say you've been involved 40 years?
Yes.
Okay, well, a compliment. You take very good care of yourself. I thought you must have started as a baby.
Well, I will say, my first job when I was in high school, I worked at the Credit Bureau of Decatur. I put bankruptcies and judgments on people's credit files. It was a lot of fun. That was my first United Way campaign. I didn't even know what it was. But they wanted 100% participation, so I was like, here you go. And since that first campaign, I have either I've been a volunteer, I've been on the board, I've worked there, I've left and been on the board and worked there again. And so I always joke, I say I live United. It's not a job to me. It is really just who I am at this point and what I do. I go to work every day and it's not a job to me. Thank you.
Hi, Debbie. You mentioned that you volunteers in the context of doing outcome assessment. Did I understand you correctly?
Yes. So agencies apply for funding for a program that they have, and it has to fit into one of our categories. We have outcomes that we expect from the community organizations. If they have one of those outcomes, then they can apply for funding. And then the volunteers come in and they go through all of that and make sure that they do have those outcomes and that they are positive outcomes and that they align.
Can you be a little bit more specific about what a volunteer would do on a given day if they were working on the problem of outcome assessment?
So every year we do our investment process, and volunteers will come in, they'll get training, and then it's a whole day, sometimes a day and a half. Used to be a week long for each line of effort that we had, which was we would go on a site visit, we would do all these things. That's a lot for volunteers to come in. A lot of them work, they get one day off to be able to come do this. So they come in, they go through the budgets of every program that's applying. They go through the outcomes, the application, the budgets, and then take all of that information. The agency will come in and do a presentation, have opportunity to ask questions, and then we'll back to back to back. Every 30 minutes is another organization coming in, and then at the end of the day, we just sit around the table and we talk about it and we make a decision. So that's what the volunteers would do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Debbie. Appreciation for everything that United Way does in the community, the impact that they have, and we have our little famous pin, so you can sign up a bunch of donors.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Okay. I did bring a couple of things that you can add to your drawing today. 211 mug and a Live United drink container. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Very impressive talk, Debbie. I would have one suggestion for you.
Yes.
And that is that you inform your groups that you're going to speak to ahead of time that they need to bring their checkbook. Has it ready.
I can do that. You know what? That's one of the things I got. Like, I just want people to know about what's happening and build a movement that we're doing. So it's pretty awesome. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Good to see you all.
All right, and we have a word for today. Yarborough.
Race car driver.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, a lot of name recognition there, but that's.
It's a county in Yarborough, England.
Yep, that would be a correct answer too, but not the one we're looking for.
It's a community, a small borough, and it's Yars.
Actually, it has to do with card games. Not yet, huh?
I think it's card shuffler.
Card shuffler, well, not, no. Let's give them the answer there. It's a hand of cards that when it was dealt to you, in which you have no face cards. Everything is 9 or below. Which in almost all card games would be a disaster. But it does happen. It does happen. You are. It probably was the name of somebody who, got one of those hands, and it became identified with that individual, I guess. All right. Attendance today. Linda?
Today we have 51 members present, 1 guest. Clyde Wilkinson's back again, Harold's brother, visiting. 1 speaker for a total of 53.
Okay, good. All right. Roberta, health report?
Yes, Mike Workman has had more surgery. He said it went well and he hopes to be back next week. And Marsha Utkorf is in the Mount Zion Health and Rehabilitation Center now. She has a long road ahead of her. If you'd like to send her cards, I have the address. Also, some people have visited her. However, Karen told me that she just went to visit recently and there's COVID out there. So you might want to be aware of that or check on that before you decide to go visit.
All right. All right, Kevin, birthdays and anniversaries.
Yeah, birthdays and anniversaries from the 12th to the 18th of April. Birthdays on the 12th, Bill Peevler, he'll be 80. On the 18th, Ralph Sherinsky, he'll be 84. Let's sing. And we have an anniversary. On the 16th, Frank and Sherry Siasco. It'll be 60 years. Let's sing. How about a quote from Bogle? Don't tempt me. I can resist anything but temptation.
Okay. All right. We just pass the mic there to Mr. Smith. Charles, you're up.
Okay. On April 25th, we're going to have a Festival of Spring out at Rock Springs, and we need a few volunteers to help park the car. I've already got Norm Jensen signed up. Cheryl thinks she's not going to be there, but we're going to work on her. So we need a few more. I'm going to put Don Winokur's name on the list, and Ralph Zawinski's, and we'll see who else we need. So it's on the table back there. Please visit after the meeting.
Okay, very good. Dan.
Okay, got some good news. All you people who bought the Charity Mania tickets, some of you didn't win. We had 2 winners of the Golden K. Ticket number 19 was John Baird for $30. And ticket number 22 was Linda Thomas for $30. And ticket number 48 was a gentleman at the VFW named David Slifer. So Golden K would like to thank you all for donating. We made $1,400 on the process, and we're looking forward to it next year. And the second thing is this Sunday at 6 o'clock at St. Teresa's is going to be a Key Club meeting. They're going to elect officers and they're going to play capture the flag, so have some fun. If you want to come out, 6 o'clock in the new room.
Okay. Kyle?
Good morning. I just want to remind everybody, I'm going to be talking about the golf outing every week until June 12th, which is the outing. We do have some envelopes to pick up over on that table. Looks like we made a really big dent. Probably have about 20 more we'd like to get distributed, so please grab a couple and let's get them out to the public. And the other thing is just keep thinking about stuff for the silent auction. Thank you.
All right, let's see. Susan.
Good morning. I have several items. This week, Steve and I delivered a van full of goodies that this club donated to the Dove Domestic Violence Program and also to God Shelter of Love. And in working with the people that were my contacts at those places, I asked them, I wish Kathy was here today. Kathy Seebach and I always wondered, the committees that put together the food for Carriage House, what they did with the leftover food. And so I finally asked them and was told that they package it up in styrofoam containers, or the soup maybe they would put in a styrofoam cup with a lid, and then distribute that to the people that stayed at that house the next morning, so they would have it that day for lunch. So I took part of the money that was donated and I went to Sam's and bought the styrofoam boxes and also the cups so that they would have those on hand to deliver that food to the people that came to the Carriage House, and they were very appreciative. Along those same lines, we gave 18 trauma dolls to the Dove Domestic Violence Program, and we gave 15 more dolls to God Shelter of Love Program. Over here on the table, next to Karen, is a sign-up sheet. If you're interested in helping with Good Samaritan Inn this week, or this month rather, it's, April 28th. And a reminder, those of you that do volunteer at Good Samaritan Inn, there's a Good Samaritan Inn Volunteer Appreciation event on Thursday, April 23rd from 4 to 6 o'clock. And a little bird told me that our club is going to be honored at that event. So if you do volunteer there, then be sure you call an RSVP so you can be part of it. Wear your blue. Thank you.
All right, good. Mary Jean?
Yes, I'm still taking reservations for our luncheon on April the 22nd at 1 p.m. at the KC Hall. I will be here next week, will be my deadline for taking reservations. $15 per person, and please bring your spouse or a friend. Thank you.
Good. John Baird.
Okay, this is just a really small item. 3 weeks ago, our guest speaker was Kent Newton, who is the executive director of the sanitary district of Decatur. And Marty Williams discovered that we were sort of featured in their quarterly newsletter in the section called Community Presentations. Now, I don't know how many people read this sanitary district of Decatur quarterly newsletter. And while this may not be our highest achievement of the year, I thought you should know. And so Gary has put that up for you to see. So that's all I've got.
Yes, last week Nancy Brodbeck with the Regional Superintendent of Schools spoke and about the science lab that's coming up at the end of the month. She had a flyer there that had a QR code on there. She informed me that the QR code doesn't work, so she'll be getting me a new QR code. So if anybody had tried that to be a volunteer, we'll get that out to you. So just wanted to let you know that.
All right. Karen.
Okay, we're just a week and a half away from kite date on April 18th. This is Saturday. I brought in a couple examples of kites. This is one that we have for older kids. They'll be able to go through in color. I'm sure they'll have a better imagination than what I did, but I just thought I'd give an example of one of them. For the younger kids, we have a penguin kite. It's a little bit easier to go through in color. It's a lot faster. We've got markers, color crayons, everything needed to go through and do this. We also had string. Basically, I'm looking for help for people to come out, to go through and help with, handing out kites, you know, overseeing coloring with the kids, maybe helping wherever possible. Some of these they're real easy to put together. The big one's a little bit more, it's got 4 pieces that goes on the back of it, but it's very simple. Everything just stamps together. So we shouldn't have any issues there. We're also going to have popcorn, and we've got small cups of ice cream that we're going to hand out, plus several bottles of water on hand. I think it's going to be a fun day. We should have a good turnout. I've already got quite a few people signing up to help out. I look forward to seeing everybody there, whether you help or not. Just make a presence and let everybody know we're Kiwanis and we're here in the community.
Thank you. And Linda.
Me first? Okay. All right, first of all, I'd like to let you guys know that we've been invited to the Festival of Spring, not only to park the cars, but there's going to be a booth that will highlight the Lids to Bench program and the Ronald McDonald Flip Tab collection. So if you're out there just for the event or you're parking cars, look for the booth, because I will be paired up with a friend of mine who owns By Faith Bakery, has some really good stuff that she will be selling. So come with an appetite for sweets if you are able to come out and take a look at what we've got going on there. The lids are currently out of the sailboat bathroom, but they are now sprinkled throughout our community at my friends' houses. So we do have a sorting scheduled for Friday, same time at the zoo, 8:30 for early bird sorting, 9 o'clock to noon for the regulars. So if you're able to come, very much appreciated. As always, appreciate all the help that all of you have given, collecting the lids, cleaning the lids, coming and sorting the lids, so on and so forth. So very much appreciated. I will tell you that the orders are picking up, but I'm not ready to accept lids yet. We've got plenty to go through, but we are a little bit on an upswing of a few orders and quite a bit of interest, people that have reached out to me but haven't yet pulled the trigger. Not this Friday, but next Friday, Susan and I will be going to Green Tree to pick up a couple more benches and take all the lids that we have done. So that will empty out the Golden Case storage, and then we will start filling it up again after we have more sortings. Let's see. Oh, the Flip Tab collection for the Ronald McDonald House is going very well. I branched out and have more businesses and places that are collecting. One of the places is Hair by Daphne, and that's a beauty salon in Mount Zion. And I got connected with her through a friend that I used to work with at TJ. And she had a client who had been looking for something to do with the flip tabs that she had collected and had a few boxes, so I went out to pick them up. Well, it was a few boxes that were like 9 Xerox boxes completely full of flip tabs. So that alone was 133.4 pounds of flip tabs. So that was quite an awesome intake. The other good news, which I don't think I've shared this, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I've been trying to get my foot in the door at the Devon, because I look at all the beer cans and all the different aluminum products that they serve there, and I don't want lids. I'm looking for flip tabs. And so I got into a conversation with Melanie Schelling, and she kind of got excited about it. Well, she's a little more prominent in the community than I am, so she helped grease the runway, and the Devon has now agreed to have containers around, excuse me, to collect flip tabs at all of the concerts at the Devon. So if we can get people to simply take that little flip tab off and drop it in there, that's going to be a huge amount if we can get people to do it. And I'd like to give a shout out to Melanie and Al Schelling. They sponsored and are donating the nice containers that the flip tabs will go in. Because I was thinking, like a plastic tub or something. Well, the Devon kind of wants something a little bit classier looking than that. So low rent Lucanville got dinged on that idea. So that was very nice of Melanie and Al to make that donation. They're currently at the Dynographics, and we're working on a design to wrap them so they look nice and pretty. They're actually cigarette butt doodads, and the first ones that Melanie and Al purchased the wrap wouldn't stick on them because of the kind of material it was, so we had to send those back and get new ones, and it's been a little bit of a debacle. The guy that I was working with, he left and turned it over to somebody else, and then somebody else didn't get the memo that this had to do with the Ronald McDonald House. So what they did, they sent me the proof, and it was a container that just said, Melody and Al Schelling, State Farm Insurance. Didn't say one word about the Ronald McDonald House, but we're back on track on that. So thank you very much for all your help with everything.
Very good. All right. Now, Linda.
She was going to be followed.
Oh, all right.
I filled in for myself.
Okay. All right.
Another one, Dick. Dick.
Dick?
All right.
I just want to add one more thing about Kite Day. We're borrowing tables from the Salvation Army. They've been kind enough to let us go through and use 10 tables. If I could get a couple of guys, volunteers, to help out. Tom and Kevin have been nice enough to go through and said they would haul up with their trucks, but we're going to need a couple more people to go through and help load those tables. They'll probably be around 11:30 on the 18th, and then we'll return them back here by 4:30 that afternoon. So anybody that could help out with that, please let me know. All right? Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to put in a word for the American Homestead Board. They are going to be sponsoring a chess activity, and they were looking for, they wanted to display different chess boards and see what, so people can see about them. If you have a chess set or two that you'd like to have that observed and maybe play with in terms of the competition, I'll have some forms here next week that I can give you to fill out, and then they'd appreciate you having something to show off. I've got about 5 sets myself, and so we appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right, President Tom, you're up.
Okay, well, last week I talked about the Special Olympics, the polar plunge that we donated $500 to, and but what I forgot to mention was that they gave us a sweatshirt. So I'm giving this to Dick so he could have this as one of his prizes. So, but on the back, see that they got our logo. Okay. And in the front there, it's got that polar plunge, everything. So I wanted to show that to you. It's a little big, you know. I think 2 of us can get in there. But anyway, I forgot to tell you about that gift, and I wanted to bring that to your attention. 2 weeks ago, some of you went over to Tuscola for the stuffing the eggs for Easter. Those of you that went, would you please stand up and be recognized? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Great, okay, so we got Janet Butler then sent a short note thanking us for helping with that endeavor. I got one more thank you note then from the Kiwanis Children's Fund. I would like to thank you for your gift of $1,000 to the Kiwanis Children's Fund. Your generous support will help advance the Kiwanis mission to serve children around the world. When you support the Children's Fund, the Kiwanis Possibility Project, you are helping us meet our goal to serve 10 million children through Kiwanis Club initiatives. Your impact will reach kids not only in your community, but around the world through grants that support the Kiwanis causes. of health and nutrition, education and literacy, and youth leadership development. So we, as I said, we gave $1,000 for that project. Okay, we are now ready for the 50-50.
We received $68 today, so $35 to admin and $35 to the pot, for a total of $261. Maybe we'll make $300 next week. Last three digits, 969.
Go winner. Okay, next week we will have a winner, I guess. All right. Happy Jug. Who's happy? Okay, Ralph Sawinski over here. We got lots of happy people.
I'm happy because after 5.5 months, I finally do not have a splint on my broken arm.
I'm happy to have reached a ripe old age and still be functioning at some level. And I missed my chance. I was going to give Kevin a little puzzle for you to solve in order to know my age rather than just tell you, because I used to do this with my grandkids. They'd grown tired of the game, but my age is twice the last two digits of the year I was born in. So see if you can figure it out from that.
Okay. Okay, there's somebody. Okay, here we go.
I am happy to be back. Happy that the Illini made the Final Four. And I forgot.
Okay, Charles over here.
Thank you. I went down to Georgia last week. My granddaughter was having a surgical procedure, and it turned out great. And the other thing is, my son-in-law is a gourmet cook, and he fed me well.
Well, I'm sorry that Jerry's not here to hear this, but when it came down to it last weekend, because I had supported the alumni of the Illini all year, I really couldn't stand behind UConn, and I have to admit I was really cheering on Illinois, and glad they got as far as they did. So congratulations to them on getting to the Final Four.
And since it doesn't look like anyone else is going to do this, I'm going to put in $1 for the publicity we got in the sanitary District of Decatur quarterly newsletter.
Okay. Okay, anyone else? Okay, does, I wanted to mention one thing, that Jerry Hunt, does anybody remember Jerry Hunt? Maybe the older people do. Jerry Hunt passed away on April 3rd in California, and we were pretty close with that family and stuff. So just wanted to mention his passing, because he moved to Florida in the winter. He's a snowbird. And when we would go down for a week, we usually stayed pretty close to where their condo was. And he always took me to the Kiwanis meetings that week when I was down there. So he was quite a loyal member. So just wanted to pass that along. Okay, we are ready for our storytelling. Who's ready for you? Here you go.
The revenue officers came by the house in the mountains and asked the small boy where his daddy was. Making whiskey, the boy said. Where? I'll show you for $10, the boy said. Okay, let's go. Kid says, pay me first. No, we'll pay you when we get back, the revenuer said. You all better pay me now, because you ain't coming back.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. Okay, next week our speaker is Grant Bogle, and he's the guidance and counselor for, or he's a guidance counselor, and his topic is on suicide prevention. We are Golden K Kiwanis and enjoy changing the world for the better by serving children and others. And we are adjourned.